Go.
What's up, guys? It is your favorite ASUN commentators back at it again for season 4 of the ASUN show. We are all jam-packed in here into a Waffle House in the south side of Atlanta, disobeying all social distancing rules and regulations to give you guys the best content, the best live or pre-recorded show in FCFB.
And in this season 2 of ASUN show, we're splitting it up. So we have all the game talk and we're adding predictions and stuff like that. And we're doing that pre-recorded, so it comes a little bit better quality to you guys. And then we're taking Shiner Shade and putting it in its own live show. And that'll be a little more laid back and takes and all that. So just giving some extra ASUN content for everybody.
It'll give us some time to get through any coaches poll predicaments or any interesting committee rankings that are released at the time, and kind of just get some more involvement for you guys.
Yep.
So I guess we'll start from the top. Season 3 recap before we get into our guest speakers. Conference championship from season 3. Kennesaw State edges out yours truly, ampersand, 36-33 in what was a riveting first half that was live streamed, and then Judge erased a pretty big deficit and rallied and held me off at the very end, and he got the auto bid for the ASUN. Moving right along into playoff results, Kennesaw State faced Texas Southern in what was probably one of the biggest shootouts in the entire playoffs. And once again, Judge found himself down early, rallied back, and that game was a very high-scoring affair. I think it ended up something along the lines of 58, 55, something like that, something very, very high-scoring. Pello at Bethune-Cookman was also in the playoffs as well. He played Montana and Habes. Unfortunately, Habes edged him out in the first round, continued his run all the way to the next round. I think we'll see Pello back in the playoffs again next year. And finally, Matt, who made his run, he won his first round game and then ended up losing to UNI Chase in the next round, who ended up making it all the way to the championship game as well. So had some good talent make it to the playoffs last year, and we expect more of the same this coming year. Moving right along, so you wanna run through the top of the final season standings?
Yeah. So last season we had, of course, Alabama A&M getting the top record with 9-3, 7-1 in conference, and then Kennesaw State, the champion, going 8-4, 7-1 in conference again. Then both Bethune-Cookman and Jacksonville State, both with 9-3 and 5-3 in conference. With Mercer, Samford, and Campbell all taking up the top half and the winning records at 8-4 for Mercer, and then 75 and 7-5 for Campbell. Yeah, 7-5 for both Samford and Campbell.
And then rounding out the second half, Florida A&M 6-6 overall, 4-4 in conference play. Chatty at 4-8, 3-5 in conference play. Stetson finishing the season strong, 4-8, 2-6 in conference play. The mysterious East Tennessee finishes 2-9, 2-5 in conference play. And then rounding out the bottom, we got Savannah State, gone but not forgotten, at 3-9, 2-6 in conference play. Alabama State 3-9, 1-7 in conference play, and Jacksonville with the swan song of the coach, 2-9, one of the bottom dwellers of the ASUN last year. Running through some of the belt winners, Bama belt winner was Jacksonville State, Matt. He was 2-0 with a 41-point differential. Georgia belt winner was Kennesaw State in a game that came down to the last game of the season with Kennesaw State and Mercer. Point differential was the name of the game here. Kennesaw State got a rather walloping victory over Mercer at the end of the year, and that proved to be enough to get on the belt. Florida belt winner Bethune-Cookman, 2-1, with a 23-point differential and head-to-head win over 2-1 Stetson. That one loss, of course, coming as the game of the year. Florida A&M beats number 2 Bethune-Cookman in double overtime on a wild last play, 4th down touchdown. So some of the things we can run through real quick are notable tournament results. So I believe since UNA is now part of the ASUN, he won a Judges C3 tournament, and I won the Spoon Bowl tournament as well, as far as ASUN successes in postseason tournaments go. Awesome. So that's kind of a recap of season 3. We can get into introducing our guests for this week, who happen to be the new commissioners taking over the infamous Humpy for season 4. That's Judge and Sanford. And how are you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Oh, yeah. Well, welcome. How does it feel to be in the throne, the dictatorship, if you will, of the ASUN this year?
Yeah, I won't speak for Sanford, but the power's already getting to me. I can feel it course through my blood, just the tyranny starting to rise. Nah, for real, it's
Absolutely.
yeah, this is gonna be I think it's gonna be a pretty easy job because we got a great group of people, and so yeah.
I agree.
So let's talk about both of y'all's last season results and then kind of expectations for this season, starting with how you guys ended the year last year.
You go ahead, Sanford.
All right. So 7-5 last year. I believe I finished 3rd in the division, something like that. It was a good year. Lost nut to ETSU, so it'll be interesting. I kind of expect more of the same, about 7-5, 8-4, kind of be on the fringe. But we'll see.
Yeah. For me, last year was a surprise. Started 1-4. Thought it was going to be just a tough ride, and then all of a sudden I won 8 games in a row and won the conference and went to the playoffs. So, yeah, it goes to show that anybody can get on a roll. I'm trying to temper my expectations for this coming season. I can't expect a repeat, so just gotta take it one week at a time and just hope for a winning season, honestly.
So as far as expectations for this year goes, and maybe you guys can dive into some of the offseason moves that the ASUN made, any realignment that we had. You guys are kind of the face now. So what do you guys think of the moves we made in the offseason, and how is that going to project throughout this season?
I think that they were good. Picking up Matt from UNA is a good get. Keeping Jacksonville and Purple in the conference was also very good. He was a newer member at the end of the year last season. And also Nutt moving to ETSU. He won the Gulf South in Division II. Only lost 1 game, and it was very close. I think that, that overall strengthens the conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was huge that we really didn't lose any major active players here. The conference was mostly kept intact, and we got to add a new friend, Matt, who we know from scouting fame. But yeah, I think it was just about as perfect of an off season as we could get. So Campbell did a good job.
Do you guys have any plans of your own for this conference, or are you going to mainly keep Humpy's legacy going?
Well,
yeah. It seems like we're just going to try to maintain the standard of excellence. You got any thoughts there, Sanford?
Yeah, we're just gonna, take it one day at a time. Probably keep it going the same. It's been pretty successful so far, but if new opportunities like the preseason All ASUN team, things like that, we'll try to throw in a little wrinkle here and there.
Yeah, Yeah, that kind of media is definitely awesome
Sorry.
to put out. Yeah, I think that's an awesome thing that you guys have already introduced just a couple days into your job. I think that's not even something that exists in other conferences, which just goes to show why the ASUN is the superior conference in all the.
Absolutely. Also, Judge and I would like to announce that we are not going to enter a lockdown, not a conference-wide lockdown.
Yet.
You must remain within 6 feet of each other.
How brave of you. You can guarantee everybody gets coronavirus and then they can't get it again. That's how that works, right?
Yep.
Yes, we will be sending the conference coaches a stimulus check of $12.
Mhm.
So look for that on your next paycheck.
Wait, $12.
I'll keep the lights on this month with that money, so I appreciate that.
Oh, you're gonna start paying my power bill.
My Uber's here. I gotta go actually. So I guess speaking of some preseason stuff and some of the new things you guys are trying to enact, let's jump right into the preseason power rankings. I know Judge has very kindly and creatively created an awesome bracket for this. Graphic for this. So did you want to kind of run through some of the preseason power rankings that the ASUN put out?
Yeah. Who's that directed towards?
You, my man.
Oh, me? Oh, cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we saw a wide variety of opinions on this poll. As you can tell by the distribution of the first place votes, they're kind of all over the place, but I think there's a pretty familiar pecking order here, kind of based off of last season and just the general trend of how things are going. So, yeah, you got anything to add, Sanford?
I think you pretty much got it. It was kind of crazy to see the spread of the first place votes. 1 through 4 and 9 through 11 all got first place votes.
Did 9 through 11 all
Itself
vote
out.
themselves first place?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this,
Yeah, we
but
can't
yes,
reveal
they did.
Yeah, let's touch on that for a second. Let's talk about Chatty's likelihood of gaining more first place votes this year. He seems to be a little bit of an outspoken character. One of the better personalities in the ASUN. What do you, out of those three? Let's say with go UNA, Chatty, and East Tennessee. Which one of those three do you guys think is most likely to get the most first place votes come the end of the season?
One at the end of the season themselves.
I'll say not Chattanooga. I think North Alabama's got a good shot, but I would have to pick ETSU there. I think they've got good experience in this conference already, and I could see them making a move. The coach already had success at D2, so I could see that.
The SMAMI coaching tree will come into full effect.
Wow, that you might be the start of the first coaching tree in FFCS. How do you feel about that?
If somebody's got to do it, right?
Your legacy lives on, man. If how would you feel if one of your heir apparents had major success in the FFCS? Maybe won a division, won a conference title. How would you feel about that?
It would be good because actually in the Gulf South Championship, I played him and he won on a fourth quarter comeback, and it was good. I mean, a little upset about losing, but I was glad it was to him and not somebody else.
Yeah, I feel that.
Or power ranking, and like mine is very different from. I was surprised at how it ended up. So, let's see. I had Kennesaw State at 1, and then
as did I,
and then Alabama AM, Jacksonville State, and then myself at 4, and Bethune-Cookman at 5. So I was like, this is a lot different.
I will say, I think I might have been swayed a little bit by, I think maybe Humpy released before the actual final rankings were released. He released some images of some of the votes that were sent in, and I saw Pello had received quite a large amount of first place votes, and I think I had. I haven't said it yet, but I'm gonna say it. People are sleeping on you, man. I think they slept on you last year. I guess that's probably a place where you succeed the most. You had 3 first place votes, but I think you should be higher up on those preseason power rankings for whatever that means.
You won the conference last year, so I figured
I agree.
you earned the top spot for the preseason.
Don't put that target on me.
Drop that.
So you did beat the top 2 power people in the power rankings in the preseason last year. So I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Awesome. So I guess moving right along, we can get into preseason all conference players. Sanford and Judge, you guys kind of compiled this list. It's an awesome list, and I don't know if you guys want to touch on the process and how you guys feel about the final product.
Yeah. So basically, people that had a full roster already made kind of got to tell me who they wanted their best player to be and things like that. As far as the process goes, and then for the rest of them, I selected based on where each team finished in the standings last year and statistically how they finished. So best passing offense, best rushing offense, and I tried to evenly distribute it as much as possible, make sure everybody was represented on there as well. So let's see. Put up real quick.
Yeah.
All right. I got to pull up the names and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
the first
beauty
thing
of
that stuck
editing,
out
right?
to me the first thing that stuck out to me on the offensive team were 2 Sanford players. One at receiver, one on the line. The expectations are high there for that offense.
Absolutely.
And Ty Smoke,
all right.
He's a player that
Yes.
I've heard of last year before we even released any, ASUN, conference players. He's somebody that I've heard of, and I expect that he's probably going to make the most of his sophomore year.
Yes, coming off a good freshman campaign. So let me start by breaking down the offense. Quarterback from Kennesaw State, Judge Andrew Van Buren. He's a junior. What do you have to say about him?
He's a good passer. He can scramble. He's just an all-around good football player. To be quite honest with you, I hadn't thought much about him before yesterday.
That's the spirit. That's the Nick Saban spirit, baby.
That's right. He is also on the ASUN Player of the Year watch list. For those of you that didn't see the article, and it says that he is poised for a tremendous campaign following your first ever ASUN title, and he is expected to put up NCAA 14-esque numbers as he plays opposing defenses on freshmen on every possession.
That is something. I'll tell you that.
Then at halfback, Earl Campbell, who's a freshman. Every player on Campbell's roster is a freshman. I don't know if you guys remember, but that'll be interesting.
They
also
have similar last names.
Yes. They're all last name Campbell, so that'll be interesting as well. A bit of a legacy there. Kyle Boyd from North Alabama. Being from Alabama myself, Kyle Boyd is a very North Alabama name, so figured he deserved the honor. Ty Smoke you hit on. We have Dominique Gass, so you have Gass and Smoke as the all-conference receivers.
That wasn't set up at all.
That was not set up at all. It's just crazy. They're both talented with great names like that. Spencer Coy from Uncle Rico's Mercer. Alexandru Buchanan. Brock Brockton IV. Marvin Santa Claus from Alabama A&M. Trent Howard from Jacksonville State, and Kendrick Payne from Florida A&M. So we'll see how it turns out. Humpy and I were talking, and it would be interesting to go back at the end of the year and compare stats. It seems like we have more people keeping up with stats and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how the preseason kind of ties into what actually happens.
I guess we'll move on to the defense now.
Judge, you want to hit on the defense?
Yeah. So on the defensive side of the ball, we'll start on the line. You've got Cade Carter, senior from Jacksonville. Blade Bolton, the tackle. Junior at Stetson. Jace Weber, I think that's how you say it. Senior from Mercer, also a tackle.
You won't get
end.
offended if you say it wrong.
Okay.
He plays for Mercer. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Defensive end, Jordan McDaniels, senior out of Chattanooga. The linebackers are Yusuf Wall, junior at Alabama State. Kenny Clay, sophomore at Jacksonville State. And Ethan Bennett, junior at Jacksonville. So Jacksonville's got two members of the ASUN team on defense, which is interesting because I know Purple seemed to have given up a lot of points at Savannah State, but I guess he's taken the new job at Jacksonville, and he's inherited a lot of talent on that
Roster.
side of the ball. Yeah, he's inherited a lot of talent on that side
Yeah,
of the ball, so
absolutely.
it's good to see. Now to the corners, Campbell is another player on this team, Lamar Campbell, the freshman. And I hope I say this right. Lil T. Groin, the senior out of Alabama A&M. I feel bad for that guy. And then your two safeties, Teddy Grant, senior out of Kennesaw State, and Raphael Connor, the junior from Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, so talking about Jacksonville, he did inherit a lot of talent. Looking at my sheet I have here, they finished first in passing defense in the ASUN last season and third in rushing defense. So, a lot of talent.
Yeah, it would be cool to see. It'll be cool to see if Purple can improve his defense with perhaps a better roster.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how steep that learning curve is for him under this new regime.
He is a defensive mastermind. He had such a good offense last year. He wanted to make it fair. That's what he told me. So we'll hit on the three on special teams real quick. Kicker, you have Davy Brooks, a sophomore from Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman was first in points per game, so figured, must have had a lot of field goals there. At punter, you have Kareem Winter, a senior from Alabama State. He got the All ASUN punter because he finished in last place last year. So he had a lot of practice punting the ball. And then at kick returner, you have another ampersand, Travis Watershed, redshirt sophomore. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, kind of how this plays out. We will do a end of the year All ASUN team and ASUN Player of the Year. I'll compile that with more people keeping stats and things like that. So it'll be something to look forward to, something to keep up with.
Yeah, awesome. That's a great initiative that I'm excited to see how that turns out by the end of the year. And I know people like Palo at Bethune-Cookman, he's working out some of the kinks as far as stat recording for his players. I think that'll be awesome to kind of see how some of those players stack up and track throughout the year. I know it's something I try to plan on doing as well.
Yep, kudos for putting this together.
I appreciate
it. So we'll move right into week one game of the weeks. The ASUN was fortunate enough to get a national game of the week, and then also we made our own conference game of the week. We have, as the FFCS game of the week that the whole nation will be watching, we have Penn and Bethune-Cookman. Bit of an interesting complex here. The coach of Penn used to be the coach of Bethune-Cookman 2 seasons ago. Obviously, Pello went to the playoffs last year, and then Penn went to the playoffs with Bethune-Cookman as at the head of Bethune-Cookman. This is definitely a high-profile matchup. Two of the more highly, I guess, sought or highly revered coaches in the league. How do you guys think this one's going to go down?
I think we're going to hold off on predictions, but it should be very intriguing. Just because these are two folks that talk a lot in the servers, and they've shown success. So I think it's going to be a barn burner.
Definitely, it'll be a close one. I'll save who I got winning it, but two playoff teams, and they're gonna go. It's gonna be a great matchup. Who is the better one with the Pokemon profile pic?
Poorly Borgs, right? And know what they're called now. Poorly Borg.
Is Jox's profile picture also Pokemon? I honestly did not know that.
Yeah, didn't know that either.
Shaman.
I have no culture in my entire body. And I'm very sorry.
Because you're not 6 feet away.
I know. I'm already starting to catch the coronavirus, forgetting all Pokemon and shit.
I think it'll be interesting to see Bethune-Cookman kind of went on a slide at the end of last year after starting off so hot. But I think that he's taken some time off. Rumor has it that he just kind of gave up at the end of the year because he was tired of donating to Nail Salon Techs Without Borders. So I look forward to seeing seeing Pello's charitable contributions continue this season.
Speaking of, what is his charity that he's choosing to donate to this year?
It is guinea pigs without ventilators. So a lot of people don't know this. And this is a prepared statement from Bethune-Cookman head coach Pello Lakiello. A lot of people don't know this, but guinea pigs actually are worse off than humans with the coronavirus. And they are desperately in need of tiny guinea pig ventilators.
That is such a sad. It's so sad.
Yeah. For every point that Bethune-Cookman scores this season, Pello will donate $100 to guinea pigs.
Start winning his games 2-0.
So we're happy to see Judge and I are very happy to see Pello's charitable contributions continue.
Yeah, we want to be a conference who cares.
Exactly.
Wow, what a valiant philanthropist Pello is. I really value his contributions to guinea pigs all around the world. Really wouldn't be the same without him. Picture
makes you wonder how much are they paying over there at Bethune-Cookman.
The dude does like to score, so it's gonna be a good year to be a healthy guinea pig, I should say.
Absolutely, as long as it's first half season 3 Pello and not second half, right?
Mm-hmm.
So next we have the A-Sun game of the week, Jacksonville State and Maine. Jacksonville State, the A-Sun team who advanced furthest in the playoffs last year, versus Maine, who is coached by someone who's been around FFCS for a while, makes really detailed write-ups for all of his games, really valued contributor to the content of this league. I'm excited to see how this one plays out. Matt's a little bit of a quiet as far as the channel goes, but whenever he does make an appearance, he makes a splash. So I think it'll be an interesting game to watch, especially considering how Maine fared last year. Played a lot of high profile games.
It should be another good game. Glad it's the ASUN game of the week, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Maine second place in the Ocho tournament, losing to your lawyer, ampersand. So
is that his new name now? Ampersand lawyer.
Yeah,
I'm legally not allowed to answer that question.
It doesn't matter what you call him; he'll always be ampersand's lawyer. Doesn't matter what school he's at.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Maine, I just feel like Maine was not talked about really much at all, or at least I didn't see him much in the conversation, but he was very well on the cusp of making the playoffs and just missed a decent team and plays really tough. I, I I think Jacksonville State is one of our best shots at making the playoff in this conference, and this is going to be a really good test. Kudos to his out of conference scheduling. So,
yeah, and that was one of the guys who carried our out of conference strength last year. I know I did not do my part, so excited to see how we start off week 1 again.
Yeah, I didn't do good either last year. Well, I did okay. I did 2.
500.
Yeah. I won the easy games, lost the hard ones.
There you go. That's all that matters. That's how we do the ASUN.
Yeah.
That's our motto. All right. So moving into looking forward to season 4. Let's get right into week 1 predictions. We'll kind of do this quick fire style, kind of like College Game Day, where we'll just kind of go through some of our predictions. How we think the games are going to shake out, and then we'll get into end of year predictions, things like that. So let's get started with Youngstown State versus Alabama A&M week 1. I will abstain from my vote on this game since I have a bit of a conflict of interest. But so let's start with you.
I got you win this one. I think you're going to open up the season well against good opponent. I think you'll win by almost. I'll go touchdown. I think you'll win by a touchdown.
Okay, I'll take it.
Youngstown State, I think they're going to have a good year. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I can't go against A&M here. I'm picking A&M.
A&M is who I also have. I believe that at one point, Youngstown State's coach will throw a retainer fee at Alabama A&M. But regardless, ampersand for the win.
I'll have my backup lawyer ready to go in case some legal stuff goes down.
Let's see. Next, we got Alabama State at Marist. And you want to start us off with that one? Who you got?
Yeah. So I'm going to go Marist here. I think they were a top. They had a bye last year in the playoffs. They're a force to be reckoned with. I think they're going to start the season off hot. I've nothing against Turk. Turk had a great game against me last year. I think Marist is going to be I think they're in the MAC. I think they're going to be one of the contenders out of the MAC and once again be a playoff contender. They played Ugo really close last year, so I think he's going to pull out the dub.
Yeah, I agree there. I think Turk and Alabama State is primed to have a better year this year. They played so many close games and just fell short. But I think Marist is too much, like you said. So give me Marist.
Sanford?
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off what Judge said. I think Turk will have a better year this year. And I actually have him upsetting Marist in this one. Turk did not have a good year last year, but he is a much harder team, much harder outing than what you would see on paper. and I think that he's going to find some success this season.
I also took Mar. You're outnumbered 3-1 in this one. But yeah, I'm not sure about Kirk. He can I think he'll do a couple games better than last year, but for the beginning of the season, I'm gonna take Marist.
I will say, I know Turk has it in him. He had a pretty big top 15 upset over Southern Illinois before Southern Illinois became the most hated team this side of the Mississippi last year when they had their old coach, and it wasn't necessarily close either. So he does have big, he is able to win that big game. I just I don't know if he needs to ease into his momentum or how that's going to go. Yeah. But I'm kind of excited to see how that happens. Next, we have the FFCS game of the week: Bethune-Cookman and Penn. Sanford, who you got here?
So I have Bethune-Cookman. Kind of hinted at it earlier. I think Capella's going to right the ship a little bit and bring back that 8-0 swagger. I think that guinea pigs will be ventilated after this week.
Thank the Lord. I'll go next. I got Pello as well. I had the luxury of playing Jackson and Penn this postseason. She is a very tough out, I will say. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be probably one of the better games we'll see all season. But I know that Pello's able to get off to a hot start. Started 8-0 last year. I think he starts off hot again. I think this is a big turning point for the ASUN as far as out of conference strength of victories go this year. I think this will be a big dub for the conference.
Yeah, we talked about Bethune-Cookman's slide at the end of the year. Penn took a slide at the end of the year last year too. It was basically a lock for the playoff, but lost their last few games. Jocks is one of the better coaches out there. I do believe that, but I think Bethune-Cookman's going to win this one.
Well, now I'm outnumbered 3-1. I'm taking Jocks and Penn. I think against Penn, but I think he's like 0-3 or 0-4 in any kind of game of the week. And I beat him, but I've lost to Jocks twice. So I'm going to take Jocks.
Why do you hate guinea pigs?
I'm trying to be right, not what I hope.
I guess technically Pello could still score 100 points and lose. So not all is lost for guinea pigs out there.
Okay, next we have Austin P heading to Campbell. Battle. So, Sanford, who you got?
It's a very average game, as Humpy probably would put it.
Do you have a winner? Sorry.
Sorry. It's cutting out a little bit. Yes, I have Campbell winning this one. It was kind of a coin flip, but they're breaking out the Humpy Boy alternate jerseys. That'll motivate them to get a big win.
Judge?
Yeah, you just know this is gonna be a fun game. I really like both of these coaches. I think Austin P is gonna top Campbell. Campbell just seems consistently inconsistent, and I think he's a good coach, but I think Austin P is gonna be too much.
Yeah, I agree with Judge on that one. Like I said, two big personalities in the FCS, but I think Austin P, after his presidential run in the offseason, I think he's garnered a little bit of momentum, and it's going to be a close game, nail biter, I think. But I think Austin P wins by 1 or 2 points.
I took Humpy. I think He'll get the early win, set himself up right track. That holds up the whole season left. But I got him starting off 1-0.
Next, we got Chattanooga and Villanova. Nova last year went to the playoffs, but I believe that they have a new coach this year. Chatty looking to build on some momentum from last season. I'll go first. I have Chatty winning this game. This is the second of, I believe, this is another ASUN Colonial Athletic Association game this week, as far as on top of my game with Youngstown State. I think Chatty wins this game. I predict a good year from Chatty, at least better than he had last year. I think he's going to expand upon his win total of last year. I think he's going to apply some pressure in the ASUN Dusk, but I think he starts off the year with a big out of conference win.
I agree. Chatty probably definitely do a lot better than he did last year. I've played him a couple times. Played him once in D2 and once in the FCS, and he's a lot harder out than what you would expect. Also, so I definitely expect him to pull it out here.
Same here. I got Chatty. I think he'll get the early win, build off some momentum, like you guys said. He'll probably be a little louder after his win. But yeah, I got Chatty.
I don't think Chattanooga's going to win, guys. I believe the new Villanova coach came from D2. He's pretty active. I believe he did pretty well last year. He was at Millersville, I think. I think the Villanova will win. I don't know what it is about Chattanooga. I just don't think they'll do well this year. I'm sure I'll hear about this on the channel at some point.
Is Delaware State at ETSU, with ETSU having their new coach. Judge, who you got?
Give me ETSU. We've been talking about him already. I think he's primed to make a move this year, improve a program that has been in the basement, from the start. I don't know much about Delaware State, but they've been an inconsistent program as well. Give me ETSU.
Yeah, give me ETSU as well. I like Nutt this year. I think he's gonna surprise some folks. He's been around D2. He was a D coordinator last year. I think this is the start of a strong season for him. My bold prediction is that he's gonna go over 500 in out of conference and in conference as well.
Yeah, watch your soup is all I can say. ETSU wins big.
Sweep. I also have ETSU. I think he'll get the early win, set himself on the right track. Get ETSU on the right track. I don't think they've ever
been on the right track.
Yeah, I don't. Past couple seasons, I'm pretty sure they've been kind of bad every year. So maybe Nut can start getting them back towards a positive overall record.
Next, we got Florida A&M and North Dakota State. For those who are keeping score at home, this is actually a out-of-conference rematch as far as coaches goes from last year. Mason from Dixie State switched to FBS briefly, and then switched back to FCS, moved into the Missouri Valley Conference, and now he's in NDSU. This is a rematch. I know Dixie State won last year, but I like Florida A&M in the rematch. I think he worked the kinks out of his offense, and I think that this is going to be his revenge tour starting right now.
Yep, Slow, you're always a decent coach. I think you'll pull it out this time over Mason.
I actually took Mason here in NDSU. I think it'll be close, and I think that Slow definitely could win. But just based on last year's result, give me Mason in this one.
This Waffle House booth is kind of small, so I don't want to start any tension between you guys. We're already close enough as it is. I don't want to get any closer.
You keep saying it. You're gonna make people actually believe it.
It's real.
Next game is Jacksonville at Butler. Judge, who you got?
I want to think all of our conference teams are gonna do well, except for maybe Chatty. And I believe in purple, but I know that Butler had a rough year towards the end last year, but I think they're a national contender, and I think Butler will win.
Okay. Sammy?
Next.
What?
Can you say it again?
Oh.
I think you cut out.
Oh. I was
Who's next?
Stanford. Who you got? Jacksonville versus Butler.
Sanford.
Yeah.
Yes, I have Jacksonville. I'm sorry, I was cutting out a little bit. I have Jacksonville. Fins up. Purple is. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do big things this year. Yeah.
Not so fast, my friend. I
was waiting for it.
I have all the faith in the world in purple, but Butler at one point was number 1 in the country last year. I think still got something left in the tank. I think Butler does some things this year that are reminiscent of last year and continues it. I by no means do I think that this is indicative of how Jacksonville's season will go, but I think Butler will win here.
Well, we got a split because I took purple. I took Jacksonville. I think coming to a new team, he'll having a full season instead of having to join in the middle of it. I think he'll start off good, get an early win, get the ball rolling down Jacksonville.
Next, we have the A-Sun game of the week. Jacksonville State versus Maine. I guess I'll get started with this one. I like Matt here. I think he's the silent killer as far as basically all FCS coaches go. I think Maine's going to put up a good fight. This is going to be a good representation of how the A-Sun has gotten better over the past year. I think Jacksonville State wins on the national stage is a big win for them.
I also took Matt. Been good coach for a couple of years now, made the playoffs 2 years in a row. I think he starts another campaign to get in the playoffs with a win here on the big stage.
Yeah, I think Matt is possibly the best coach in the conference, possibly in the nation. He hasn't put it together yet for a conference title or a super deep playoff run, but I think this is his year. I've got him over Maine.
Give me Matt. 9 times out of 10, the 10th being when he plays Sanford. Mighty Matt.
It is the Mighty Matt show today.
So unanimous for Matt. Next game, we got Kennesaw State heading up to South Dakota State. South Dakota State starting their A-Sun tour. Sanford, who you got?
I have Judge pulling it out here. I think Judge is going to maybe not necessarily repeat as the A-Sun champ, but he will make the playoffs again, in my opinion. And I think that campaign starts here.
Yeah, I agree. I've faced the wrath of Judge before in person, and I'm still paying dearly for my sins today in his basement. So, give me give me Judge. I think Judge started the season rough last year, but I think he's really hit his stride, and this year he's poised for a big year.
I also took Judge. I don't think I also don't think he's gonna repeat as champion, but I think he's gonna have another good season. Maybe start a little better than last season and get a win early. And yeah, get
I
the
know I'm
win
supposed to recuse
out of
myself, but not so fast, my friends. I'm definitely gonna lose.
You gonna tank just so we're wrong?
Maybe.
Next, we have Mercer versus Western Illinois. Rico coming back. Haven't seen much of him in the offseason. But I like Mercer here. Honestly, I'll be the first to admit I don't know a ton about Western Illinois this year. Might be a new coach. I like Rico though, regardless. MVC is one of the better conferences in this game, and I would love to see an ASUN victory over any MVFC team. So I think it starts here.
Give me Unk.
Yeah. Rico, really good coach. Been just on the bubble, I think, the past 2 years. Almost making it, not quite. And I think he starts another campaign with a win. And he'll definitely be one of the contenders in the Dawn division this year.
Yeah, I'm picking Mercer also. Just as long as Rico isn't too busy at work.
Quarantined right now, as everybody should be, while we're in this Waffle House. It is a clean sweep for Mercer.
Yep. Next game is Northern Alabama at Gardner-Webb. Sanford, who you got?
Flipped a coin, Gardner-Webb. Give them to me.
Judge?
I gotta say, not so fast, my friend. There was a recent development. I believe Gardner-Webb's coach quit today.
Yeah,
so
And was wrong?
I saw new Gardner-Webb on General, so I'm questioning my pick right now.
I was gonna say I don't know, the king or the so-called inventor of scouting might. But then again, sometimes new coaches have an advantage over people who have no scouting experience, no experience playing the game. It's harder to scout those people. But
And nothing to scout.
Give me Matt here. Give me Matt. I think Matt starts off strong in the ASUN.
I can give you a little bit of information on that. The new Gardner-Webb was Eastern Illinois last year. He was going to retire, but then with the quarantine stuff, he decided to come back, and so he took Gardner-Webb today. He made the conference championship last year in the Missouri Valley, so it's going to be tough, but I'm picking North Alabama here. I think Matt's better than his record last year.
That's going to be a great game.
The most toss-up pick for me, but I took Gardner-Webb. Nothing against Matt. I didn't know who to pick, and I decided to go Gardner-Webb.
Okay. Next, we got Sanford for Southern Illinois. The team formerly known as the most hated team in FFCS definitely turned a corner with a new coach. But I like Sanford here. I like Sammy. I don't believe that the new Southern Illinois coach has a ton of experience coaching outside of some of the postseason stuff. If there's any scrimmages or anything. But I like Sanford. I think, he's got a lot to prove this year. I think he starts seeing strong.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and chime in. I don't think anybody's picking Southern Illinois here after what they pulled. Yeah, give me Sanford.
I also took Sanford.
Then the fake FCS job. I'm just doing my duty, taking care of the most hated team.
The whole world is behind you.
And the last game, Holy Cross is heading to Stetson. Ampersand, who you got?
This is a tough call because I am personally in cahoots with the coach of Holy Cross. He, just as I have a legal relationship with Youngstown State, I have more of a professional Holy Cross. Stetson's going to be a tough play this entire year, so I might have a little bit of personal bias, but I'm going to go Holy Cross here. He's a new coach. I think it's going to be a close game. It honestly could go away. I think whoever wins wins by less than a field goal. But I'm going Holy Cross here.
Judge?
Yeah, I think I gotta go Stetson here. There's a point last year after Stetson quit the coordinator experiment. We miss you, JoJo. But the now hat JPG, there's a point where he really started paying attention and he just turned it on, and he was pretty ridiculous at putting up points. I think he's going to be a little bit foreshadowing here. I think he's going to be a dark horse, and I think he's going to win this game and start out on the right foot.
Stanford?
So Holy Cross is my week 2 opponent. And this game was a bit of a toss-up for me. Everybody knows my history with Stetson. Really, JoJo. You're good. Or JPG, I'm sorry. I'm going to pick Holy Cross. Samford will be revealing some alternate unis for that game next week. First home game of the season. It'll actually also be a neutral site game. Talking to some people today, and it'll be interesting. I want that game to be 1-0 versus 1-0, so I'm going to take Holy Cross. Speak it into existence.
There we go. I can see that.
I took Stetson. He absolutely wrecked me last season. I think he started my losing streak. And I think he'll keep the streak he started last season. Be paying attention a little more and start destroying people. So, yeah.
All right, so that wraps up week 1
into
predictions. Yep. Yeah, so we can get right into end of season predictions. I can get started with my conference championship predictions and then my thoughts on the playoffs. So, as personally, I think, like I said, people are sleeping on Judge. I think that Judge makes it back to the conference championship this year, and I had the opportunity to play him last year. I think last year's ASUN was kind of a bit of a cluster, for lack of a better term, and I got kind of lucky with some of the ways things shook out with Matt. I think Matt actually pulls the ASUN dusk out, and he shows up in the ASUN championship game. I actually think he wins the ASUN. That being said, playoff teams from the ASUN I think that we have going are Jacksonville State, Cookman, Kennesaw State, and then my dark horse pick, Nut at Eastern Tennessee.
Season predictions, since I couldn't pick myself for Dawn Division. I went Mercer. I think he finally puts it together. He's been he's been right there for the past couple years. I think he puts it together for this season. I think Bethune-Cookman and Kennesaw State and probably Stetson will be right there behind him. It'll be another race like last year, but I think Mercer pulls it off. Also have been consistently one of the best teams. Picked him last year to win the division. He didn't quite get it, but he was close. I think he puts it together this year. I also have them winning the ASUN and getting the auto bid. And then I have us sending 5 teams to the playoffs. I have Mercer and Jacksonville State, of course, the 2 division winners, and then myself, Ampersand, and Bethune-Cookman all going. Can make it, and we'll be right on the bubble, which will be Stetson, Purple, and Campbell. I think they're all right there, and can easily, if they get a ball bounce their way, they can easily get in. But I don't have them as my predictions. Judge, you want to go through yours?
Yeah, I guess I'll go. So in the Dawn division, I'm going Bethune-Cookman. In the Dusk, I'm going Jacksonville State. I think it'll be another chaotic year, but I think some more predictable favorites will come out on top. I said earlier, I think Jacksonville State is probably the best team in the conference. I can't pick against them. They're going to be my pick most years, honestly. So I have them beating Bethune-Cookman. As far as playoff teams, I've got 5 in this year. I'm going with Jacksonville State, Bethune-Cookman, Mercer, Kennesaw State, and Alabama A&M. So that's 3 from the dawn, 2 from the dusk. And as far as dark horses, I went with teams that, I think they'll have winning seasons. I think they'll be in that 6-6, 7-5. But if things go right, they could win an extra game or 2 and possibly snatching it at large spot. So I'm going with ETSU and Stetson as my dark horses this year.
Similarly to what Judge was saying in the Dawn, I also have Bethune-Cookman pulling it out. Went on a slide last year, but as I said earlier, I think he's going to right the ship and have a great year. Winning the Dusk, I actually have ETSU winning the Dusk. I think it'll be similar to last year where Matt loses a game or 2 that he probably shouldn't, and that might end up costing him the division, not necessarily a playoff spot. And then I have Pello like yellow taking home the gold like yellow in the ASUN championship. I really think that Pello has revamped his scouting, and he is poised to have a great year, as will the ASUN, as I actually have 6 ASUN teams making it in. I think that, last year we had a lot of new faces, and this year we have a lot of experience. And I think that will translate onto the record books, and we'll do quite well out of conference, and that's why I think we'll be able to get 6 teams in. And the 6 I picked were Bethune-Cookman, obviously, winning the conference. ETSU, I think, will win enough games to get in. Ampersand, Judge at Kennesaw State. Mighty Matt, like I said, will still make the playoffs. I just don't think he'll win the division. And then I think that I will actually make the playoffs. I'm speaking it into existence as well. Everybody's sleeping on Samford. I've had a lot of experience playing in D2, FBS, FCS now. Feel ready to go. Have a good year. And then a couple other dark horses. I have Slolo, who I think will, 50-50 shot of making it. Same with Stetson and Campbell. I think it just kind of depends on a couple numbers will decide their fate. So it should be a good, interesting year.
That is the way that the ranges fall sometimes. Awesome. Glad to hear you guys have. Seems like we have at least some faith that at least 4 teams from the ASUN will make the playoffs this year, which is good, better than last year. And I think we have so quickly become one of the more experienced conferences with some coaches leaving and us retaining some of our coaches. So I'm excited to see how this kind of.
We retained them because no one's allowed to leave.
It is a cult. It is a cult. Just like I'm not allowed to leave Judge's basement. But that's neither here nor there.
Did you guys drink your Kool-Aid today?
Yep.
Nightly Kool-Aid?
Mm-hmm.
Delicious. It's boiling hot. I love it.
Yeah, I have it right after
All right.
my OJ.
Well, that's all that I have on the schedule.
We'll get into Shine or Shade tomorrow on the live show. Well,
So-
Wednesday. I don't know when this is coming out.
Yeah.
This should go up tonight.
So we will do Shine or Shade live tomorrow night. The idea is to possibly get coaches from other conferences on, get kind of their hot takes on, what's going on in their conference, get everyone involved. So this way we can get ASUN content out, also get some FFCS and general content out while being spicy boys with spicy opinions. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow, March 25th, tomorrow night. Cool. Well, thank you guys for coming on. I'm excited for a new year with 2 new commissioners, co-commissioners. And good luck in y'all's games tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck.
All right.
Yeah, you as well.
Have a good night, y'all.
All right.
Good
Thank you.
night.